Hello. Papa and I are together on the couch. I have different perfume oils on, including Givenchy Play. So Papa and I are playing together in harmony. And he smells good. Oh, heavenly. Oh, a heavenly, musky, fresh love scent is that. That's a scented love. Dog is love. Dog love scent. Absolutely gorgeous, and they're wonderful clouds. Love it. Over the ocean and over the trees. And I'm gonna continue my artwork today. It is not too hot. It's a little bit on the chilly side actually. And I wanted to actually do a Doga video, but I don't know how to do this now. It's a little too cold for that outside. Wanted to make a Doga video, a yoga for dog video. So, but we're just chilling, and that is basically all dogs need to do. Chilling and relaxing and meditating. It is for us, for our backs, to make these specific exercises that are so beneficial. And I don't know if I can show this here, if there's enough light for this. So, but there's one exercise that is absolutely vital. Paul has this upside down table here, as you can see. And it is a cumbersome thing that just takes up space. It takes up an enormous amount of space. And we don't even use it, so it's just ridiculous. But like once in a while, the other day I had some spinal cord neurological issues, and I hung upside down, and that helped me tremendously. But this can also be achieved by just standing upright, bending over and letting the arms hang down. I like to do this on the lawn because if my fingertips touch the floor, I don't like to touch the sturdy floor, so I like to touch the grass. And so you just, have your legs straight, and you just gradually move your spinal cord forward, and you let your arms hang down. You breathe. That's the number one yoga posture and exercise, is just to let the entire spinal cord completely fall forward and drop forward, and just completely relax the arms, the shoulders, and the spinal cord, and then the spinal cord that goes out into the neck, and completely lean it over and let that completely fall down towards the ground with gravity. And breathe deeply through the abdomen while you do this, and hold that posture as long as you can, and then very gradually come back up, one spinal segment at the time. Roll it back up. Okay. And then also lift the arms up way into the air and stretch your arms way out. That's very helpful. And then there's another one, this half moon posture, where you lie on the side on the yoga mat, and it has to be a soft but a straight surface, so it cannot be sagging. So it's very important to have a particular yoga mat on the floor, and then you do this on the grass, on the flat grass. The grass out there is not flat, it is very uneven, and it is in the slope. So if you have a straight lawn, then you can do this on the lawn. And what you do is you put one leg over the other and stretch that weight forward. Papa Dog's doing it too. He said, Papa Dog. And then while you have the left leg over the right leg, you move your spinal cord over to the other direction as far as you can. So you do a twist and then you change positions. And that's very helpful too. So all of these things are very, very helpful. And it gets some sludge and debris and whatever, you know, toxins or stuff is trapped in the muscles or in the tissue. It gets that loosened up and gets it transported out of the body. So it's very, very helpful also for circulating the entire body with blood and bringing oxygen into every cell. So it's extremely important, particularly for the brain, the one where you hang over. So you don't need an upside down table for that. So, but you know, and this is not the best upside down table in the world. So it's he got that, I don't know, for less than $100 or something. That's the real good upside down tables. They don't have a chain underneath or any of this. They are much lighter weight. They're made out of a very durable aluminum stand that just folds up out, and a thing that is suspended by itself and that swings, and where you don't get completely stuck upside down, and no one, if there's no one to help you come back up, then you'll be stuck upside down. So yeah, that's the case with this here. So with the real good upside down table, it comes back up by itself. It's kind of more like, it has more like a whip kind of mechanism, and that's much nicer. So Papa Dog, what are we doing now? Are we doing yoga today? Yes. Are we doing yoga? Yes. What are we doing today? Huh? What is it? Yoga? Yoga for dogs. Yes. Yes. Very nice stretching. Very nice. Yes, Papa Dog. It is nice. It is nice. So, yeah, I wanted to make a video. I want to talk a little bit about my observations on the internet as usual. And what I see in people, I see this is a common theme throughout all people, any society. This is the one common denominator, and that is that people are terrified of being laughed about, of being looked down on, of being shamed, of being bullied, of being disrespected, basically. Yeah, that is really the bottom line of it. People are so terrified of being disrespected that they forget to love. They forget to put love before that. They forget justice. They forget anything else. They get disconnected with that feeling and with that preoccupation in their mind on this issue, and with the varying defense mechanisms that people will use according to their knowledge, according to the culture they grew up in, according to, and a culture, you know, a culture is usually, it consists of neurotic things. That's what a culture is all about. It is human neurosis, institutionalized and mass produced and mass accepted. That's what a culture is. Thinking for oneself means stepping out of the culture, it means stepping out of the religion, it means questioning all of this. It also means questioning oneself and one's own motives. It means looking at oneself deeply in the psychological mirror, not just the physical mirror, but looking at your own personality and your own character and taking a very deep look into it. and seeing it for what it is. So if you see jealousy, recognize it as that. Don't judge yourself for it, because there's nothing wrong with that feeling. That feeling is there. It's neither wrong or right. It is a hurt reaction, and that hurt reaction has to do with that trauma, with the trauma from childhood. Okay, that's what it has to do with. If we all had been loved unconditionally as children, people would not feel jealousy. Yeah, this thing would not come up. We could be adults and acknowledge the other person as being better at this or that, or better looking according to this or that fashion, or current belief on beauty, or whatever. So beauty in itself is a very relative thing, actually. Beauty ideals are made by a culture again. Culture is neurotic. So, but I can say, according to this culture, yeah, she fits that standard better than I do. Yeah. And I acknowledge this, and I walk on with my life. I move on, right? I kind of like mind my own business and live my life, right? And love myself deeply for who I am, for what I am, for how I look. I love my nose for just what it is, okay? And that's healing. That's the healing path. This nitpicking on oneself, it all only comes from childhood trauma. That's where it's rooted. If we go back to it, if we understand where this is coming from, if we see this very clearly, if we shed tears over it, if we allow ourselves to feel this kind of emotion without judging it and without running away from it, then we let it flow through us, and it will flow out the other end. Okay. It just wanted to communicate with us. That's all it wanted to do. But people patch it up, they stomp on it, they lock it away in lockers, and the pain inside is hammering against the door and wants out. Okay. And at some point it comes out in form of Elliot Rodger shooting a whole lot of people. That's what happens eventually if it is kept in the locker, locked up, with probably additional enforcement crowbars locked onto it, and angles, metal angles and screws, extra bars drilled on top of it. Okay. So then eventually it will just, the pressure in that closet will build up to the point where it just explodes. And that's what's happening in the world. Okay. And the meanness and the bullying, this is all part of that pain inside that wants to come out. It comes out in inappropriate ways, retaliated at against innocent people, innocent beings. Okay. And we can completely shift that right now by going within ourselves, and looking at ourselves instead of addressing it, or projecting it onto someone else, or other people or groups. So this is how it's done. Yoga meditation is an excellent way to complement this type of inwardness approach. It goes hand in hand with it. It facilitates it. Sometimes there's tension locked up in our bodies and we don't know where it's coming from because we have broken away from it. Our consciousness has disconnected itself from it. So then it becomes something that we're completely unconscious about, and we don't know where it's coming from, why there is this type of tension happening, or certain muscle tension that we want to loosen up. We don't know where it's coming from. So a lot of the neck tension, for example, comes from a traumatic birth. It's that far back in time. And of course, most people cannot remember this with an active memory. It's not even there. There aren't even any pictures anymore really directly connected to it. There could be, sometimes the brain can make an image out of it. It will figure out something that we know in the present time, and it will use this as a metaphor in order to express itself. Like, for example, I had nightmares throughout my whole life, recurring nightmares of our elevator. We had an elevator that fit about 4 people, quite narrow, and it was an old building, 6 stories high actually, but the elevator went only to the 5th floor. And so I would always dream getting stuck just before I come out the 5th floor, between the 5th or the 4th or the 3rd or the 4th. So like halfway, almost to the top, but somewhere in between the floors, it will get stuck. It never happened in actuality. The elevator never got stuck like that. It never had the problem where we actually had to call an alarm or something. It never happened to me, at least. Maybe it happened to some other people, because it was a building where there were physicians' practices in it, and my dad's architectural office on the top floor. So I would always dream about this, like being stuck, and what it really is, it's just the brain trying to give an image of something that I know in physicality form, in actual consciousness, direct wake consciousness memories of that what I know now, not the not memories of birth, but memories of my actual daily life. So I will use these kind of things and form this into a metaphorical dream. And it's always a nightmare. It's always connected with panic and with anoxia and with a fight for survival. And what that really is, it's just an image of birth, of the birth process. And almost all people had long labor when they were born. Almost everyone. Almost everyone. So my mother was in long labor with me, and that's a fight for life, of that fetus, that, or I don't know what, the fetus that wants to come out. I think they're called fetus after the 4th month of development. So that baby wants to come out, and it is a horrific nightmare struggle. Okay. And also because they did the horizontal birth, and that doesn't work because then gravity doesn't help. So it's all very unbeneficial. The unbeneficial traditions and ways that people have been doing it. So our ape ancestors, they did that in a standing position, knowing already they would hold on to a tree trunk or to a tree branch with their arms, while they're, you know, relieving their spinal cord a little bit, and they would be above maybe a bed of leaves and let that baby come out with gravity. So, and that would be so much better. But somewhere along that the evolution, they somehow forgot about this, or they changed that, their intellect or what, disconnected from it, from this rational sense of the body, from the knowing of the body. So, and then they thought, oh, it's better to be in a lying down position. No, it's not. So many things that the human ape has done wrong along the line of evolving into this, what they call the civilized Homo sapiens, Homo sapien, and it's not that civilized, what they're doing. So it's not very. I don't call this very civilized. Depends on what we what we associate with that word, civilized, what we mean by this actually. So if it's supposed to mean decent, then that's not really the case. Decent or rational or functioning, that's not really the case. So yeah, so many things that need to be taken into consideration, that we need to ponder over, that we need to reform. And a lot of things we need to reform back to the natural ways that were actually helping us, that were working for us. So it's very important. And okay, one second, I'm making video right now. We're making a video together. Yes, Papa Dog and I, together forever. So you guys take care. Bye bye.